I want to give you a secret tool to potentially find the best deal possible when it comes to buying a builder's inventory home. This is something probably not a lot of people talk about. And if you understand how this works, you could play it to your advantage and it could make you a master when it comes to getting the house that you want. And I'll give you all the details, give you my thoughts on this, and hopefully this will send you out to get a really cool deal on a really great house here from a builder in DFW. We haven't met before. My name is Zach. My team and I, we sell new construction real estate, and today I'm going to teach you to do this like the pros do it. So what you need to understand is the idea of builders, so production builders, so Bloomfield, Highland, Pacesetter, Perry, all of those guys, right? They have a couple of different things that they do. One, they have the homes that they build on spec or inventory. So they speculate, right? So they build this home without any sort of end buyer in mind. They don't know who's going to buy it, and they're hoping somebody shows up and somewhere in the process and takes over this deal. Well, those homes get selected based on, what the sales rep in the community thinks that they need in that home. And I'm going to talk you through how they pick those. And then they have the other side, which would be what they would call a bust or a cancellation, right? So this is a home that somebody started and said, hey, I want to build, the blue Post-it note house on 123 Main Street, and I want to pick all the selections. And then for whatever reason, they could not close on the house. Personal disclaimer, this does not mean there was something wrong with the house. This could be something like we've had clients that couldn't close because their job was bringing them to Texas, and then all of a sudden their job was sending them to Virginia, or they had a change in lifestyle, or what, things happen, right? So this would be a bust or a cancellation. And then this is a house that the builder gets back, and when they get it back, they were not expecting to get it back. So they really need to move this home. So the secret tip is, here's how you identify those homes that might be bust, because if you can find that home and it fits your criteria, you might be able to find a little bit better deal, because the margins could be a little bit better because they were gonna sell that home for a higher price, and now they need to get rid of it. Couple of caveats on this. Obviously, it has to fit for you and your family. You can't just go be like, we want the bust out. The sales rep is not going to tell you these things. They probably won't. So I want to give you the way that you can tell they designed it versus how you can tell like an individual designed it, right? So I texted a couple of my friends that are sales reps for builders, and I was like, hey, how do you what is your criteria when you guys design homes? And every builder's criteria is different and every price point is different. So I'm going to give you a couple of ballpark things to keep in mind. So the sales rep job is not only is it to sell the house that, you walk in and see, but they have to, set all of these inventory homes up. So they pick, hey, we're going to build this floor plan, and we're going to put this here, and we're going to put these structural options in, and we're going to do these design selections with our designer based on what we're seeing people ask about, right? So I'm just kind of give you a couple of highlights. So one of my sales reps friends told me, they said, hey, we have a certain design allowance per lot size that would be offered to a buyer on a build, but we can try to pick structural options that are most popular. We can't go too crazy, but we can make our own decisions on each home, or we work with a designer to create a showcase. Another sales rep told me, hey, it really depends on my pricing, whether it's a 1-story or a 2-story. We look at it where we can spend up to about 2 to 3% of the base price on structural, and then another minimum 3 to 5% on design upgrades, and we can pick that however we want to do it. And so some sales reps will pick hey, I want all of my homes to have a fireplace, or I want all of my homes to have, this, if I build this floor plan, it's going to have the 5th bedroom, or we're going to make sure we have a media room, or I know people love an extended patio. So every sales rep is a little bit different in this, but they all kind of have this same wiring. And as you walk these inventory homes, you can kind of tell, right? Most of the sales reps do a really good job. They stay very on trend or on brand or on the timeless kind of things that you're like, oh yeah, I can tell, this is, it's like the beige cabinets and the beige lowers, white upper cabinets, or champagne as some builders call them. It's the very light tones on the floor. It's, white and fresh natural subway tiles on the backsplash, the gold, the white and gold, Carrera gold tile in the bathrooms that are laid, 12 by 18 or 24 by 12 or whatever. You can kind of tell which of the homes are the true inventory homes that they built on speculation. Things I want you to look for, if you're walking homes with builders and you're trying to determine, hey, was this a bust and they just don't want to tell me? A lot of times you'll see that it's the design things that stand out, right? So it's, hey, does this home have a waterfall countertop? And none of the other homes you've walked into have the waterfall countertops. Does it have a full row of upper cabinets in the kitchen? And is there glass and glass shelves and electrical in those cabinets? Does it have the hutches hinges? Does it have sliding glass doors? What does the backsplash look like in the kitchen? Is it a full slab where they carried it up the wall? Because not many builders will do that. Is it a fun colored tile? Is it a blue or a green? Is there the mosaics in the laundry room? Again, this is not a full indication that it was a bust, but the more creativity and the more customization you see in that inventory home could lead you to the understanding that this might have been a bust and you might have a little bit more room to negotiate your price where you need it to be. Now, I'm not telling you that this means that it's got $50,000 of negotiation. That's not what it means. It could, if you time it right? If it's the end of the year and you saw, some of the other things going on in the neighborhood and what maybe, and the higher the price goes, the more there's room to come down. So if you're stepping into this space in a sub 400 price point, you're not going to find as much room to negotiate as you would at say like a 5 to 6 to 700 price point, but there is room. So if you can find the house that like, oh, hey, it's got a very specific, I walked a house the other day. It was a very specific buyer. It had dark countertops, like a very dark countertop. It had like a mirrored tile on the backsplash. It was kind of cool looking. I wouldn't have picked it. As soon as I walked in that house, I was like, this was a bust. And I was asking the sales rep, like, somebody built this house, right? She's like, well, I'm like, just tell me. You don't even have to tell me. I know. Like, if we had a buyer on that house, we could use that to our advantage. There's potential that they could say, hey, you know what? We really like this house, but I cannot stand that mirrored backsplash. I need it changed. Well, okay, let's change it. Hey, we really like this house, but I will only buy it if we can get down to this number. And the builder and their office and their management and their team is looking at that like, we didn't want to get this house back. This was one more that counted against our numbers. And for the sales rep, they really don't want those things back, right? Because they're playing a sales game, right? So if you've ever existed in the sales space, cars or insurance or houses or like, it's always, hey, what is your net positive? It's not how many did you write. It's like, I wrote 2, I had 1 cancel, so I'm positive 1. And it's like, well, I need to get rid of that house. So if you can identify that and don't let them know that you know that, you could use it. Like if you're looking at 2 houses that are the exact same floor plan on, in the exact same neighborhood, and one of them has a little bit more customization on it than the other, that might be a great opportunity for you to get a good deal. Now, some of the sales reps are a little bit more, let's call it creative, and they work with a designer and create a showcase home that they spend their budget on. And it might be one of those things too. It's also evident, like you can see as they move through a phase, like if they're in between, phase 1 and phase 2 or phase 3 and phase 4 or whatever, if you find the house in the old phase, A, you could probably get a better deal on it because the land was cheaper and they've been holding it longer, but B, it might actually have more features in it than the home in the next phase, right? So I was talking to some sales reps the other day and they're like, hey, we're getting ready to start our next phase. We're buying our new lots. I was like, cool. What are y'all doing? They're like, well, we're doing the exact same floor plans. We're adding a couple new ones, but we're keeping our same series. Awesome. What is your pricing going to be like? Well, on the next phase, our pricing is going to go up by 15%. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, it's got to go up even more than that because the land costs went up. I was like, well, how are y'all counteracting that? I said, well, we're cutting back on some of our standard features. So like in this phase, you could get the smart home package that has the Wi-Fi range extender. It has 8-foot doors and it's got the gutters tied into they don't have the little spouty things. They're tied into the ground. I'm like, okay. They're like, in our new phase, we're not doing that. So like our 8-foot doors are not standard. We're not doing the gutters without the downspouts on the gutters. And we've eliminated the smart home package. And then a couple other things. I was like, really? But your price went up. And they're like, yeah. And what's the problem? I'm like, you cut features to raise your price. But yeah, they're like, well, the land costs went up. And I'm like, I understand. I don't get it, but I don't like it, but I get it. But so those are the 2 things, right? Like if you can find a home that was somebody else's house that they were getting back that they weren't expecting to get back, you might have more room to negotiate and get a better deal. If you can find a home that's been done for a while, and this is really, really hard because the numbers, like when you look at Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, and you see like days on market, some builders put their houses on the market the moment they start turning dirt. Some of them wait until the house is almost complete. And there's no way to know for sure, right? Some of them will be honest with you, but to be honest, some of them will be honest, but to be honest, most of them, like you just kind of have to watch it and see. But if it's been sitting for a while, there's a good chance you're getting a good deal. If it's the closeout of a phase and they're trying to get to a next phase, you're probably getting more standard features and you're going to get a better deal. So that's where it's like when you feel like they're pushing this one house or they're pushing this one thing, yeah, they're trying to get rid of it. And if you can just be a little bit flexible in what you need and a little bit flexible in some of the design choices, you might find yourself in a really positive position to get a good deal. So take a look at it because, yeah, like I said, builders, design selections, 4% is usually what they spend on design and electrical. Structural is another 2 to 3% roughly. One of them is like, hey, we might spend up to $40,000, or hey, we might spend up to $30,000. And if you look at it that way, and like if you're thinking about building, that's kind of a fair number to use as well. One of my sales reps said, hey, on a 1-story, we spend up to about $40,000 all in. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then, minus the lot or whatever. So if you can look at that, and you can look at it objectively, and you can look at it from the standpoint of like, hey, I'm just trying to balance getting a good deal with the house that fits with my family, because I think that's what the thought I would leave you with is like, I could get you the best deal in the world, but if the house doesn't function like a home for your family, then the deal doesn't matter, right? Let's find the house that works. Let's make it a home for your family, and then let's put the deal together on the back end, and it all comes together and makes this really, really beautiful cake. But as you're walking these homes and as you're talking to sales reps, I will tell you, this strategy doesn't work with like the Meritage, the Trophies, the DR Hortons, any of those builders that build in mass production and they don't sell homes at dirt because they don't let people make decisions. This strategy does not work because they have a very regimented, like, oh, hey, we put this package and they just go. So this is more of like your pace setters, your Perrys, your Chesmars, your Bloomfields, your Highlands, those builders that we would call like, I don't know how to call them semi-custom, but they're like production builders that, you can tell there's some differentiation in their home. And then this is the strategy to kind of use and to look at. And if you use it right and you time it right, like if you're watching this video before the end of 2025, you will probably find yourself putting together an incredible deal. If you're watching this video beyond the end of 2025 and into 2026, I still think you have the opportunity to find some really great incentives and some really great homes. You just have to know where to look. So if I can help you with that, the contact information is always right down here. Or if you're like, I don't even want to talk to you yet, Zach, that's fine. I just want to browse. You can click on the QR code right over here. It'll let you browse all floor plans, builders, communities, homes being built, homes that are built, whatever you need. It's a resource that's there for you guys. So I hope this helps. If you have questions, leave them down in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with you and just answer anything that we can to be a resource for you buying from a builder here in DFW. Appreciate you guys. We will see you in our next video.